look like by 2030. Scientists and global organizations have gathered mortality data for decades. In this lecture, we'll be using data mainly from the United Nations Population Division, which collects, and has been collecting since about 1940, historic data and annual updates of mortality patterns and birth patterns. They create life tables which cover every 5-year period from 1950 to 2010. Our objective here is to understand what's possible by 2030. So what is possible over the next 2 decades? Well, let's look more closely at what happened in the last, from 2000 to 2010. And what you get is a pattern of deaths that shows enormous decreases. So overall risk of death between ages 0 to 70 fell by 19%, but much more by 24% at ages 0 to 49 years, and less by 15% at ages 50 to 69 years. Now let's look at the major diseases, again focusing on overall 0 to 69 age group. Communicable maternal and perinatal conditions fell by 30%. For example, vaccine-preventable diseases fell by a full 67%, astonishing decrease in the 2000s. The NCDs fell by 14%, again a bit surprising. Most people think that the non-communicable diseases are killing more and more people. It is true, but you have to look at it in this context. The overall death rates are falling much faster than the declines from non-communicable diseases, so they form a greater proportion of a shrinking overall total of deaths. And add to that population growth, so more people are at older ages than they were several decades ago, and you do have the absolute burden of non-communicable diseases increasing. But note the death rate, meaning the rate of death divided by the population, is decreasing. So let's go back to our table. So communicable deaths down by 30%, non-communicable deaths down by 14%, and injuries by 13% at ages 0 to 69 years in the 2000s. So what we've done here is apply the death rate for 2010 to United Nations population life tables and the projected populations for 2030. And what this provides is, if these deaths were to continue, how many deaths would you get at different age groups in 2030? And the key statistic is to look down at the bottom. At ages 0 to 49, if 2010 death rates persisted, you'd have about 20 million deaths at those ages, and about the same number at ages 50 to 69. So overall, at 2010 death rates applied to 2030 population, you'd have about 40 million deaths, 41.3 to be exact, before age 70. If we were to look at the major causes of death, you see that in 2030, deaths from communicable, perinatal, and nutritional causes, if they persist at 2010 death rates, will be 10 million at ages 0 to 49 and about 2 million at ages 50 to 69 years. Deaths from non-communicable diseases number 6 million at ages 0 to 49 years and fully 18 million at 50 to 69 years. So as the rates of decrease are twice as great for communicable disease as other causes, under 50 mortality is falling particularly rapidly.